Hello, this is Movie Hunter. I recommend you watch the video to the end, because it's very interesting. Today I'm going to tell you about Victor Frankenstein. The film of 2015 has won the hearts of many viewers, and also left a lot of reviews about itself. The events of the dramatic horror film take place in the 18th and 19th centuries of the past centuries. The narrative of the story itself takes place on behalf of the Hunchback. This man had no other name. He told the audience that he had lived in the circus for as long as he could remember and that he had never left the circus. However, besides clowning performances, the young man was very fond of medicine, especially the study of human anatomy. Sometimes he even treated circus workers, but an unforeseen thing happened. One day during a performance, the air gymnast Lorelei, the circus's laughingstock, had an injury to her collarbone, and if not for the timely assistance of the main character, she would have stopped breathing. The ingenuity of the young genius was noticed by Victor Frankenstein, a medical college student. Then the Hunchback had no idea that in the future it was this man who would determine his fate. The young doctor offers the circus performer to leave this establishment, but their conversation was overheard by the circus owner and, not wanting to let the freak go, he burned his medical books, and also as a punishment the poor guy was put in a cage. But that same evening, the very same Victor comes to his aid and rescues the boy from his imprisonment. This is noticed by the steward. The fugitives are chased and, in this commotion, a circus worker is accidentally killed. However, the young men managed to escape. Once safe, the clown informed Frankenstein that he had never been outside the circus. Upon arriving at Victor's home, the Hunchback remained agitated. And when he saw a medic with special tools, he was not at all comfortable. Victor frightened the boy even more by attacking him and manipulating his hump. It turned out that the 16-year-old had just a large accumulation of fluid in the periantral tissues, to put it simply, an abscess. The corset that the scientist put on the freak to straighten his back is also unexpected. Next, Victor gives us a tour of the house. He names the former clown, now called Igor Stratsman. At the same time, Inspector Roderick Turpin is investigating a case of disappearing organs from dead animals, as well as a recent murder and kidnapping in a circus. He finds some connection between the events and orders his assistant to put up flyers with images of yesterday's criminals, Victor and the freak. At the same time, the awake Igor sees a note from Victor, in which the owner of the house briefly tells him that his roommate now has his own clothes and money. And so the curious Igor is already outside, walking toward the hospital where Lorelei was and visiting her. On his way back, the young man notices flyers with his portrait on them. He is confused and becomes worried about it. When he returns, he tells Victor about the leaflets. Over dinner, the young doctor is able to calm the poor man down and tells him how talented the Hunchback is and that he will be the one to help make the plan come to fruition. The medic is also convinced that death is a phenomenon that can be corrected, and thinks it is possible. Igor doesn't quite agree with this, but he doesn't disagree. The student decides to show his work to his newfound friend, during which he marvels at the Hunchback's genius. Along with this, Igor learns that Lorelei has a patron. He is glad. Now he has someone to take care of her, but he never stopped missing the girl. One evening the young people went to a club to celebrate their success. There Igor was able to meet Lorelei. The girl recognized the freak from the past and was happy to see him, and even managed to meet Mr. Frankenstein. Do you like the movie script? I'm sure you'll find it very interesting, and to learn about cool movies, subscribe to our channel. Give it a like and turn on the bell. The company of three people began discussing plans and ideas for the guy's project. It is noteworthy that the girl often twisted the scientist's last name. After a fun evening, the student dissuades Igor from seeing the young woman, assuring him that she is completely short-sighted. Frankenstein also reveals the secret of a project in which the unsuspecting Stratsman was involved. The monster had a peculiar name, Gordon. The creature itself was a kind of mixture of an ape with other animal body parts sewn into it. Frankenstein offers his comrade to go with him to medical school to present the created animal. The two geniuses are now partners. The next morning there is a demonstration of the monster. But many people present at the presentation are scared off. The homunculus is considered a pile of rotten meat. Upon awakening, the creature begins to tear apart the college auditorium, attacking Lorelei as well, who came to the demonstration at Igor's request. Although the experiment failed, but he was very impressed with the rich Finnegan. He offered the researchers cooperation and sponsorship in exchange for creating a new monster. Victor immediately agreed. Igor was not enthusiastic about the idea. There was a misunderstanding between the heroes. At the same time, the inspector continues his observations and arrives on the scene at the college. He also shows up at Frankenstein's house and threatens to search the premises with a search warrant. However, as it turns out later, his superiors have not issued a warrant for the inspection, considering the policeman's arguments not to be the most serious. Lorelei tries to reason with Igor, telling him that the eyes of the creature in the college were completely blank and there was no life in them, and that it's all worth stopping. But Igor stays true to Victor. After a while, an angry father comes to Frankenstein and tells his son that his theories and experiments are unsuccessful and unsubstantiated, and he is also very upset by the news of his offspring's expulsion from college. Victor tries to prove the contrary, citing the idea that his experiments are not insignificant and they may lead to a new discovery. However, this justification makes the father so upset that he slaps his son in anger. Victor is very upset, but he tries not to show pain to Igor. However, the former hunchback saw the family quarrel but pretended it never happened. He gives great ideas for the successful creation of the monster and they work together to develop a new layout for their project. It happened that Victor allowed Igor to go to the ball with Lorelei. The lovers had a romantic connection. On his way home, the boy saw police officers breaking into Frankenstein's house. Once inside through another passage, Igor persuades his friend to escape. At that moment, Police Inspector Turpin breaks in and a fight ensues between them, during which the lawman's arm is chewed off by the mechanism. This helped the genius escape. They arrive at Finnegan's and he proposes that they leave the country for Scotland, his estate, for further development. Upon hearing this suggestion, Igor declares that he will not go anywhere, as he thinks it is not a good idea. Frankenstein, upset, departs alone. The sponsor decides to drown Igor, considering him unnecessary. However, the inspector guesses that the patron and accomplice helping the two fugitives is none other than Finnegan. Meanwhile, the wounded Turpin reports to his superiors about his investigation. The sheriff probably realizes that Roderick is right, but accuses him that the search was conducted without a warrant and is a violation of the law, so Turpin is suspended from the case and sent to rest for mental health. But did the talented circus freak who had so caught the audience's attention just die? Of course not. He was able to survive and recover from his injuries to his beloved. He firmly decides to stop Victor's crazy idea. So, after recovering, he travels with Lorelei to Scotland, where he sneaks into the castle with her help. Victor, on the other hand, determined to revive his scheme, does not expect to see his friend at all, and when the young scientist plugs in devices to produce electric current from lightning discharges, Igor calls him up and asks him not to carry out his plan. He also tells Victor that Finnegan is going to kill him after completing his research. However, Frankenstein does not want to back down. The plan succeeds. But the consequences were unfortunate. Once awakened, the infernal creature began to destroy everything around it, causing the deaths of workers, Finnegan, and even the devout Roderick, who had so desperately tried to stop it all. The creature was extremely dangerous, and its power lay in the fact that its human likeness had 2 pairs of lungs and 2 hearts. Now Igor and Victor had a common task, to disarm the monster at all costs, and after a long battle, they managed to accomplish this. From a powerful blow of his hand, Igor loses consciousness. The monster died at the hands of its creator, Frankenstein. In the morning, Igor awoke, but Victor was no longer in the castle. The beautiful Lorelei was walking towards him, smiling and holding a letter from Victor. From it the hero learned that the young scientist decided not to be a third superfluous, that it was time to part, that it was better for Igor to live his life. But if Frankenstein does think of any project again, he will certainly ask his friend for advice. The letter ended with the words, "Igor is my greatest creation." And this video is almost over. Subscribe to our channel not to miss interesting movies and watch our other videos. Have a great day.